Today on Muddybeards 4x4, we are getting a long overdue update for the 1-ton swap on the trail plug. Hello and welcome to Muddybeards 4x4. I am Robbie and I am finally back out here in the shop. And so I wanted to give you all an update on the 1-ton swap I am doing on my 1999 Jeep Cherokee XJ, or the trail plug. Now, I know it's been a very long time since I posted a video on this swap process, but I just had a super crazy busy summer. Most of my time and energy has been spent out on the property, out on the farm, you know, getting things up and running the way I want them to. But even though I have not posted a video, I have been slowly collecting parts and getting a little bit of work done on the trail plug. And so I wanted to quickly do an update video because I'm motivated to get back to work, and I think a lot of things are going to start happening real soon. So let's check out what I've been able to do over the summer. I would like to start here in the rear of the Jeep, and as many of you know, I built a very super simple 4-link suspension using all off-the-shelf generic builder parts from Barnes 4-wheel drive, and I'm really happy with the way that it has turned out. But I think the biggest update that I have for the rear suspension is I now have the shocks mounted. Now there is a ton of work that has gone on back here in the rear of the Jeep, and I'm not going to go into a bunch of detail because I will have a video coming out soon on this whole build process. But I did get these tube shock towers mounted and the shocks mocked into place, and I think this is the big ticket item. Instead of going with the more affordable air shocks like I originally wanted to, I bit the bullet, and these are a set of Fox 2.0 14-inch travel coilovers that's going to make this rear 4-link work just mint. Now moving on to the front of the Jeep. When I last left off, I was working on this Dana 60 front axle, and I did an entire install video on this beefy truss swap kit from Barnes 4-wheel drive, and I've since been able to bolt this thing into the Jeep, and it has worked out perfectly. The axle is sitting exactly how I want it, and everything looks great. Now the dilemma that I think that I have is that even though everything has bolted up and everything looks good, I've of course bolted it to the old suspension system that I had prior to this 1-ton swap. Now this suspension system is a very simple radius arm setup that I built like 6 years ago. It was the first suspension project I ever built, and despite the internet's hatred of radius arms, this system has worked great for me. It's excellent for packaging. It's simple. The original Barnes Enduro joints from like 6 years ago are still tight. I've always thought this thing has been a great system that flexes awesome. So what do you think I should do? Should I just leave it like this, get this thing out on the trail? It would certainly save me a lot of money and time if I just kept this suspension. Or do you think that I should go ahead and upgrade it to something like a 3-link? Let me know down in the comments. But as far as the front axle, she is mocked into place. So now we really just got to get to deciding what I'm going to do with this front suspension. So the last thing I wanted to give you an update on is all of the parts that I managed to acquire over this summer, and just kind of give you an idea of, you know, my plans and my directions and where I'm going with this build. But I pretty much got, pretty much everything I need to complete this build. Now it just has to happen. So sharing with you a few of the parts, I think these are one of my favorite things I picked up this summer. Again, I was not planning on forking out the dough for this, but I'm glad I did. These are a set of 2.0 14-inch travel coilover shocks from Fox Racing with the remote reservoir, and then it comes with the iBox springs. I got these from a company called AccuTune. They're a race outfit that you send them some of your basic measurements and parameters of your build, and they send these shocks tuned for your setup. So it's kind of a good way to go get into a set of coilover shocks that are already set up for your build. So I can't wait to finish out that rear 4-link and get those set up. As far as the front, I do have this weld-on high steer kit and a bunch of Heims and stuff ready to go to build my front steering that I'm planning on doing there in the front. And then as far as, again, gears and lockers, I got everything I need here. I bought everything, some goodies. I got this all from East Coast Gear and Supply. These are 538 gears I got for the front and rear. For the rear, I went with this Yukon zip locker or grizzly locker, non-selectable, but these are a good locker. These things are tough. And then in the front, I'll probably catch some flack for this, but I just did not want to fork out the dough for a selectable locker, so I went with a spool. I mean, these are, you can't get stronger and more simpler than a spool, but certainly some drawbacks to that. But that is what's going in for the gears and lockers. Now, also I have here, this is a transfer case. I think I'm gonna do an entire video on this. What transfer case you want, why you want this transfer case, and why you'd want to swap this into your Jeep. This is a MP241 Rock Track 4:1 ratio transfer case out of a Jeep JK. So I'll be going into some detail on that. I mean, I even got all the simple, most of the simple stuff, ball joints, seals, bearings to rebuild all the hubs. I mean, I have most of this stuff put together. And my other favorite thing that I acquired over this summer is my wheel and tire package. So these are a 17-inch all aluminum, and I love the black finish, beadlock wheel from a company called Sidetracked Off-Road. You should check them out because they're really affordable. Even though I haven't ran them yet, obviously, I mean, I think they look great. I love the look of them, and the finish and the machining looks excellent as well. I did get one of them mounted onto the tires I'm gonna be using. These are a 40-inch Maxxis Razor, and I think the setup looks excellent. So all of these parts and the progress that I have been able to do over this summer, you know, I'm getting closer and closer. I think the only big ticket items I'm still missing as far as parts go is I need brakes, and of course I need drive lines, but that's one of the last things I will probably be ordering up. Well, that about wraps up this update video. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for being patient with me. I promise you, there is more content coming out. I have a lot of plans and a little bit more time to work on this thing now, so more videos will be coming out on this whole one-ton swap process. If you want to get caught up on the previous videos on this build, I will put a link to the playlist down below so you can check that out. If you have any comments or questions, as always, throw them down in the comment section. Let me know. I try to answer every single one of them. But in the meantime, I got to get back working on this thing, so I will see you on the trail.